What's going on, everybody? It's the Bull Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk about Zach LaVine and some news and updates around his free agency at the moment for the Chicago Bulls and of course other teams involved as well. Now at the end of the day, I've said countless times already, I'm pretty much sick and tired of talking about Zach LaVine, just because at this point in time especially, there's really little to nothing that we actually really know as concrete news for the Chicago Bulls and for Zach LaVine, and we probably won't know a lot until probably a little bit later down the line, of course. So all the news stories now, look, they're just rumors, they're just potential possibilities, but nothing can be really realistic and concrete at this point in time. So I'm relatively sick about it, but at the end of the day, when there is news, I will discuss it whether I like it or I don't. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bull Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the likelihood of Zach LaVine joining another team, especially the team that I will be talking about today, as well as Zach LaVine potentially staying on the Chicago Bulls team. I've always said I feel confident Zach LaVine will re-sign with the Chicago Bulls for that max contract. I know many people have been saying a lot of things, that he doesn't deserve a max, or maybe that, again, it's something that we probably shouldn't do long-term, stuff like that. But all things considered, the best and safest option if you want to keep Zach LaVine is a max contract for 5 years. It's as simple as that. That's all we can offer him, and hopefully that will be enough. If it isn't enough, maybe he goes to another team. It's very interesting, and I guess one of the teams that you have to consider as a potential option for Zach LaVine, and the news that I'll be talking about today, is the Dallas Mavericks. According to Mark Stein, I believe Dallas Mavericks could potentially go and pursue Zach LaVine in free agency and try to lure him to be a partner in crime with Luka Doncic. Now, they're in a very interesting predicament, aren't they? Of course, they got to the Western Conference Finals, lost to the Golden State Warriors, but they've got a guy they've got to make a very big decision on at this point in time in Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson had a very, very good playoff series and a very good season overall, done some fantastic things, and in my opinion is a very, very huge reason as to how Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks ended up getting to that Western Conference Finals. Now, ultimately, they weren't very impressive in the Western Conference Finals, but at the end of the day, I think the Golden State Warriors have proven that they were the best team in the West pretty much the whole time. I know Phoenix Suns had the best record, but the Warriors looked to be the best team, and that ended up being the case overall. At the end of the day, it is a very interesting topic of discussion when you think about Luka Doncic and Zach LaVine. I think both of them have incredible offensive firepower. Both of them can raise havoc together on the offensive end. Defensively, I'm not sure if any of them are particularly great together, and that's obviously the weakness that they would target. But again, if a good system is in place, even bad defenders can look good based on a certain system and style of play. So at the end of the day, they have a very unique situation there. So I guess all the questions have to be asked now is, can Dallas Mavericks actually pull this off? Should they pull this off? And obviously, what do I think as a Chicago Bulls fan will end up happening overall? First things first, can the Dallas Mavericks actually pull this off? Yes, they can, ladies and gentlemen. Now, they're going to have to clear up a lot of cap space. Giving us a sign and trade of just Jalen Brunson will not be enough for Dallas Mavericks in order to secure a max contract type player within Zach LaVine. They're going to have to give us a little bit more assets, but it could definitely be done on both sides, for the Chicago Bulls and for the Dallas Mavericks. So they've got to look into that certain situation and I guess identify what they're willing to give up and what the Chicago Bulls are willing to take from that Dallas Mavericks team. Now, Jalen Brunson is a very interesting player. I personally wouldn't mind having Jalen Brunson on the Chicago Bulls team. I think I've praised him a lot throughout the course of the year. If you haven't seen, he's a fantastic, in my opinion, kind of slashing guard, and he's proven that to probably the highest level you could probably ask from him. So he's a decent option, in my opinion, for the Chicago Bulls. He's definitely not the worst option in a sign and trade that I've ever heard. I've seen a lot worse sign and trades out there for Zach LaVine, and Jalen Brunson, in my opinion, is probably one of the better ones you can ask for. But he's not better than Zach LaVine, let's be honest. In my personal opinion, at least, he isn't. I think Zach LaVine has a lot more levels of his scoring. He's a much better, I guess, player in terms of he's made the All-Star team twice in 2 consecutive seasons now. So again, I think Zach LaVine's clearly a better player. Obviously, Jalen Brunson had the better playoff run, so you can have that debate there if you really want to. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. And I personally, again, I wouldn't mind Jalen Brunson on the team, and of course other assets coming alongside of him as well could be a good option, but I would still recommend keeping Zach LaVine if I was the Chicago Bulls over, I guess, doing a sign and trade for the Dallas Mavericks. At the end of the day, it is up to Zach LaVine overall, but if there's an option there and we have a chance to keep him, I would say we should keep him over giving him to the Dallas Mavericks. Will the Dallas Mavericks actually do this? I guess that's the next question. I don't think they will. I think at the end of the day, Dallas is in a situation where maybe they could go for other players that are a little bit cheaper to try and get and bolster their squad a little bit more. I don't think they need a superstar like Zach LaVine on their team. I think if they do or need to go for another star, I think they need to look in a bigger department. Again, they had Kristaps Porzingis at one stage, and I know he's probably not a superstar now compared to what he was on the New York Knicks, but I do feel like they need a much better big man, couple of big men than what they already have. I know they like to space the floor. Their main offense is give Luka Doncic the ball, spread the floor 1 through 5, and pass to the certain three-point open shot. And that obviously works for them very well in this playoff series. But ultimately, I think if you want a successful time in terms of going to the next level, Zach LaVine, in my opinion, is probably not going to be the real key guy to get you there. I think another big man, a better big man, will allow the Dallas Mavericks to get there, which is why I personally think they should be going after a player like Aidan that is potentially a restricted free agent, maybe a Mitchell Robinson that could definitely help on the defensive side of things as well. Who really knows? Maybe even Mo Bamba for them as well. Someone that could be a floor spreader maybe for them, but definitely needs a little bit more defensive, I guess, rim protection and stuff like that. I feel like they've been undersized for quite some time, the Dallas Mavericks, and I think they do need to add size onto their team because they're not necessarily... I mean, they can play small ball. They have played small ball, and they're known to play small ball, but there's always a good option to go bigger at times, especially if a certain series demands it from you. So that's where I think Dallas should be going. I don't think Zach LaVine's their best option, but he's probably the best option in terms of the quality of player that you're going to get out of free agency. So I'm not surprised that they might end up going for him. I just don't think they'll be able to pull it off. They probably can. Again, depends on the players they give up. But yeah, at the end of the day, I don't really see it happening for both Zach LaVine's side of things and for Dallas Mavericks, but I could be wrong at the end of the day. So as a Bulls fan, what would I like to see happen? As I've said already in this video, I want to see Zach LaVine stay on the Chicago Bulls. I think that's where his future destination will be. I'm fairly confident he will resign with the Chicago Bulls. But at the same time, all these outside noise that you hear, they're coming for a reason. They're here for a reason, and that's because Zach LaVine's team has given other teams in the NBA, I guess, a notice to say, hey, this guy is not a foregone conclusion to go to the Chicago Bulls. If you pay him the right sum, you give him the right ambition, if you give him the right project, if you can actually impress him in an interview, stuff like that, he might be willing to switch teams. And that's something we're going to have to face as a Chicago Bulls team as well. It's basically up to him, and he decides where he has to go for his future. I'm hoping the Chicago Bulls is that team, but we just don't know at this point in time. So that is the update, ladies and gentlemen. Dallas Mavericks could potentially pursue Zach LaVine. Just to sum things up, can they do it? Yes. I think they can do it. They're going to have to give up quite a few number of assets, but it is definitely possible for them. Should Dallas do it? I don't think they should. I think they should go in a bigger direction, go for bigger men. And what I would like to see as a Chicago Bulls fan, I'd like to see Zach LaVine stay on the Chicago Bulls, obviously. So if you consider that bias, fair enough. If you see that as fair, that's up to you as well. I don't really have anything to say on that situation. I just personally see that playing the way that it is. Luka and Zach LaVine could be a great partnership together, in my opinion, especially on the offensive end. But I feel like they've already had a very good partnership in Brunson and Luka Doncic as well. I see Zach LaVine making it slightly better, but I still don't see that as a championship team. I think they're going to have to make huge strides in terms of the big man department for them to really be, I guess, super good contenders in the Western Conference. I think that's where they need to go. That's where their heads need to be focused on before getting a Zach LaVine. If they could do both, fair enough. They've done incredible business in the offseason, but I just personally don't see it happening. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully it won't be about Zach LaVine for another couple of weeks at least. I'm tired of talking about Zach LaVine. As I've said countless times, I'm pretty sure you can already tell. I'm just so sick of it. And we're going to be seeing a lot of these stories, which is probably why I'm so sick of it. I feel like so many of them are so unrealistic, but the fact that they continue to be talking about, it does my head in, ladies and gentlemen. But again, nothing's impossible, I guess, and we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks, next couple of days. I'll keep you updated if there is any news, I guess realistic news to be talked about. Take care.